Well, it's time to start some email questions here, Pat, and we're going to bring it on, first of all, with Anita today, who says, do you believe that the local church is required to tithe into other ministries, not the people in the church itself, from the offering it receives from its members?
Look, we don't live in a system of legalism. In the New Testament, we're free. And the rule is that if you give, it'll be given back to you. So I believe that ministries are wise to give to others. We do. At CBN, we've given and given and given to many ministries and many organizations, and to the poor and the needy and all the rest. And I think it's important. You don't just want to let it all come in. And the trouble is that if a church takes everything in and then uses it to build beautiful stained glass windows and expensive carpets and a new organ and all that stuff, it's consuming itself. Whereas if it's got a mission program and it's sending out, it just refreshes the whole spiritual life of the congregation. So I'm not talking about some rule, I'm talking about practical sense, okay?
This is a viewer who says, my son's wife of only 5 months has left him, claiming she doesn't feel love for him. He is devastated and is trying desperately to hold on to what appears to be a fruitless battle. I know that God is in control and has the master plan. I'm just not sure how or what I should pray for at this point. Do I pray for a reconciliation or just pray for my son's strength?
Don't pray, have a party with cake and ice cream and balloons and favors, and have a liberation party. He's been liberated from a very bad marriage, and he's gotten out before there's any real damage done. And, you know, don't be, you know, mourning with him. And, I mean, he's free of a bad situation, and it happened fast.
5 months.
Well, she's obviously not a girl for him. She's not a keeper, if I can use that term. And have a party, celebrate it. That's what I would do. Hey, Johnny, you are free. We're so happy for you. Let's have a party. Let's go for a dance or something.
Well, that could have lasted a longer time. You know,
well, it could have gotten children. Then all of a sudden you got problems. As it is, she's gone, and she can't make any claim on anything, and it's almost the point where they could probably get some kind of an annulment because that marriage never happened. All right, go ahead.
This is Catherine, who says, what's the difference in ISIS and what the president calls ISIL?
Islamic State in Syria, Islamic State in the Levant. All right.
Explain the Levant, because some people don't know.
The Levant is that whole strip of territory that goes from Egypt all the way up to the Euphrates, and that's called the Levant, and it's
a region, right?
So that whole region is what they're claim to, all the way through Iraq, all the way to the Euphrates. The old Assyria, the old Nineveh, and all that is all the Levant.
And this is a viewer, Pat, who says, I had an adulterous affair with the man I later married. He was the one and only love of my life. I became a born-again Christian and asked God to forgive me. Will my adulterous sins be forgiven even though I love the man I sinned with? We were married for 25 years before he passed away. I will always love him. How can I ask God to forgive me knowing I still love him?
Well, why would God not love you? Forgive you. Look, all manner of sins and blasphemies shall be forgiven the sons of men, Jesus said, except sin against the Spirit. So you've asked for forgiveness and you've been set free. So you committed. You were in love with somebody besides your husband. So you.
No, it is her husband. That's what she's saying.
No,
the adulterous affair with the man.
That's
I
right.
see what you're saying.
That's what I'm trying to say. So you entered into another relationship, and that relationship essentially came into marriage, so it meant that you were divorced from the other man, or the other man divorced you. I don't know what it was, but somehow that marriage was broken and the new marriage was formed. Of course, God will forgive you and receive His forgiveness. Right? And I mean, the man, your 25-year second husband or whatever is dead now. So I mean, it's don't carry that guilt to the grave with you. Take your forgiveness from the Lord. What?
Here's another viewer who says, what did Jesus really mean when he told Peter, verily I say unto you, whatsoever ye shall bind on earth shall be bound in heaven, and whatsoever ye shall loose on earth shall be loosed in heaven, found in Matthew 18.
That's when we need to understand, you know, the old rabbis, the term, they bound obligations on people. They had rules and they bound those rules, and that's what he's talking about. So he's given to the church the privilege of setting up rules and regulations for people to live on. And he's also set up rules and regulations that they have the privilege of taking away. That's why I think it's so very important that we have a major church council to decide once and all this whole matter of marriage and divorce and remarriage. It is so screwed up, and people are in such bondage, and you have so many, we get so many letters of people who have gotten into these situations, and they you know, can't stand the man they're married to or the woman, and they go and have an affair, then they get remarried. And we need to make a definitive statement, and the church has never done it. But that's what Jesus gave us, that power. He says you can bind these rules. You can say, okay, you stay in that marriage forever, and we can have those binding, or we can loose them. And that's what he said. I'm giving you the keys of the kingdom. You can, whatever you bind on earth will be bound in heaven. The heaven will validate your decision, or you can loose it, and then heaven will say, okay, you know, you're loose. That's what it means. It's rules, regulations. Okay.
Okay, that's all the time we have for email today.
Okay.